Okay, we should be live. We are live. Yeah, we're live. Just a quick little live stream, nothing too crazy. Had a good weekend of boxing. I really enjoyed this weekend, actually. Some good fights, man. Some real good fights. Fight of the weekend, man, no doubt. Jerwin Ancajas versus Jonathan Rodriguez. That's a great fight, man. Joe Smith Jr., Maxime Vlassov, great fight as well. Jaron Ennis making this statement, Conor Benn making this statement. Had a great weekend of boxing. Had a real good weekend. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And obviously this week, hopefully we find out in regards to Joshua Fury whether this fight's happening or not. Apparently the venues, the offers have been put forth. Both parties are now kind of going over those offers, and we'll see what happens. Crazy D3, he says Vlassov got robbed. Yeah. Do you know what, Crazy? So I never scored it when I was watching it live. I watched the fight, but the impression I got after that fight was that Vlassov did enough. I felt he was in control for the majority of the rounds. Smith came on strong late on, but I just don't think he did enough, to be honest. So yeah, I felt Vlassov was very hard done by. I need to go back and score that fight, though. I need to go back and actually score that fight round by round. Yeah, but big up to Crazy D3. Big up to Simon Coulthard as well. Salute to Simon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the boxing this weekend. I thought it was a really good weekend, to be honest. If you guys haven't seen the Jerwin Ancajas fight, you need to watch that fight. Great fight, man. That was a fight of the year contender. Ancajas versus Rodriguez. That was a fight of the year contender. Straight up. Great fight, man. Just going to change something in the background quick. 1 second. And also, what was good about this weekend, we hit 4K subscribers out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that, so that was pretty cool as well. It's kind of insane that, there's 4,000 people out there who have subscribed to my channel. Just some random cunt who talks about boxing online. It's kind of crazy to me, I'll be honest. It's crazy. Yeah, XMB45. Boots Ennis took a fair few shots. Might have a decent chin because Lipinets has decent power. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He got caught a fair few times in that fight, but he was always in control. I think he realized that Lipinets really had nothing for him, and he just broke him down and beat him up. He looks very smooth in both southpaw and orthodox. He seems to carry genuine power, decent hand speed. That kid's a problem, and he's only 23 years old, so he's going to get a lot better. Welterweight right now, with these young guys coming up, Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, it's looking a lot more healthy. We need some more blood in that division. I'm kind of getting bored with the whole Crawford-Spence talk. I'm getting bored with it. So I'm glad we are now seeing some young guys come up and really make a name for themselves. These guys are going to be knocking on the door very shortly. So listen, Spence and Crawford best actually get in the ring because one of these guys could take them out. Who knows? Joe Smith might do better against Beterbiev than Vlassov purely on styles. Yeah. Beterbiev's going to be more readily available to hit. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not convinced in a firefight Joe Smith outlasts Beterbiev. I'm really not. I thought Joe Smith got hurt in that fight as well with Maxime Vlassov late on. I forget which round it was. It was like in rounds, it was one of rounds 8, 9, or 10. Joe Smith looked kind of hurt a couple of times, to be honest. But I felt Vlassov done enough to win that fight. I felt he'd done enough. First half of that fight, he was boxing well from the outside, dictating the pace, dictating the range. He was kind of flustering Joe Smith with his herky-jerky movement. I felt he did better in the first half, and even in the second half. Look at rounds 8, 9, and 10. Vlassov actually decided to get on the inside and smother Joe Smith, and he was having great success doing that. I just felt Vlassov, for more of those rounds, was in control. to be honest. But there we go. Ebony Bridges speed bags are fully inflated. Yep, they are indeed. Definitely got fake ones. I'm surprised they let her fight with those fake titties. I'll be honest. I'm surprised they let her fight. But there you go. I didn't even watch it in the end. I didn't watch it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Just not my cup of tea, man. It's not my cup of tea. I've never enjoyed female boxing. Those who do, fair enough. It's just not my thing. Ennis could deal with Virgil Ortiz, in my opinion. Yo, that would be a great fight. It'd be a great fight. I'm not really prepared to say who wins that fight just yet. I need to see a bit more. The only way to find out, though, is these guys fight. That's really it. People are saying, oh, Ennis is better or Ortiz is better. Let's get them to fight. Fuck it. Why not? Make that fight an eliminator. Ortiz versus Ennis. Fucking let's go. It's a great fight. You could see the disappointment on Vlassov's face. 15 years as a pro and robbed of his title. Yeah, that's the thing, Max. Because going into that fight, all the narrative was the story of Joe Smith Jr., construction worker, underdog in numerous fights. That was the narrative going in. It was the Joe Smith story. But Maxim Vlassov has taken the hard road, fought away from home multiple times, fought in multiple weight classes, had a couple of attempts at world titles not go his way. Well, one attempt at cruiserweight. He's done it the hard way as well, but nobody was talking about that in the build-up to this fight. But there we go. It was a close fight, should run it back, really, yeah. But, that's not going to get in the way of Beterbiev-Smith. So what I would say Beterbiev versus Smith has to happen next, and maybe have Maxim Vlassov fight Umar Salamov as like an eliminator or something like that. Because I think Vlassov deserves something out of that, even if it's another like an eliminator. He deserves something. Vlassov threw away the last 2 rounds. Yeah, he did. He got hurt in the 11th, and yeah, he never really recovered from that. A robbery doesn't surprise me. I need to see it again, to be honest, to see whether it was a robbery or not. But I felt Vlassov won. I wasn't scoring, but I felt he did enough. Pigeon's main channel, big up to Pigeon. He says Shannon Courtney is so protected. One thing I hate about Matchroom, they force complete retards on the boxing community. Oh man, that whole build-up was cringe, Pigeon, man. The amount of simps out here, like, just talking out their ass in regards to that fight, it's insane. I'm really hoping that Fury AJ gets announced soon. Yep. Well, apparently they've been presented with the different site deals from various countries. And, from what we've been told, we should know in the next couple of days. Tyson Fury is saying he wants an answer by Tuesday, according to his latest interview. So fingers crossed we find out in the next day or so. Because I'm getting really bored of waiting around. I use women's fights to start rolling spliffs. I don't blame you. Ebony put up a gutsy fight. Build-up was a freak show, though. Yeah, I did see her eye after that fight. I didn't watch the fight, but I saw her eye, and it was pretty bad. Courtney versus Bridges was much better than I anticipated. I'm not a big fan of women boxing, though. Yeah, I just can't get into it. I know it sounds really fucking, you know what I'm like anyway. I'm a bit of a misogynist, but I just don't like seeing women get punched in the face. Something about it to me that can never really get behind it, to be honest. Listen, if that's your cup of tea and you enjoy it, I'm not judging anybody. Just do your thing, but just never really been for me. When's the second channel coming? I knew somebody was going to ask that. Soon, actually. I've got some ideas for it. It's definitely coming. I've been thinking about that a lot more recently, believe it or not. I think I've got a name, but I'm not decided yet, so I'm not going to put that out there. But yeah, second channel's definitely coming. I've got some ideas for it. So basically, it's going to be like a horror-ish type of channel where we kind of cover fucked up content, fucked up goings on in the world. We're going to delve into weird internet subcultures, and it's going to be like a commentary channel kind of thing. That's the kind of route I'm going to take it. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much. There's a couple of those channels out there, but there's not too many channels in that space. So it's a decent area to go into. I was kind of pissed though, because I saw some guy's video who had an idea that I thought of, but he done it first. I was pissed, man, but I'll still do it. I'll still do it. Yeah, big up to Pigeon, man, every time. Listen, Pigeon comes on here, man, has a laugh, and that's all you can really do, man. So big up to Pigeon. Tito Trinidad versus Spence. Who have you got? I've got Tito. Tito Trinidad left hook knockout. I think Spence would give him a hard fight. Maybe he could drop Tito. Tito got dropped quite a lot, but Tito always used to get back up, and he would fight fire with fire. I think he would exchange with Errol Spence Jr. and catch him with a left hook and knock him out. That's how I think that fight would go, but it would be a war. I said Canelo beats Joe Smith. Everyone last week laughed. Not laughing now, are we, lads? Joe Smith Jr. ain't nothing and lost that fight. Yeah, I felt he lost, Pigeon. Listen, Joe Smith is good at what he does. He's a basic come-forward brawler with power in both hands. But if you can negate that, he's got no plan B. We saw that against Vlassov. We saw that against B-Roll. We saw that against Barrera. And yeah, I would say Canelo is he's too multi-dimensional for Joe Smith Jr. I would agree with that. What is the best way to learn how to fight on the inside if you're really tall and have a long reach? Yeah, probably asking the wrong person, because I could never get that down pat, to be honest. I'm a tall, lanky guy. And when I was like boxing training, when I was sparring and whatnot, I always struggled on the inside. I've got super long arms, and I was really tall for my weight class. So I was like 6'1", and at the time I was a welterweight with like retarded long arms. And I always used to struggle to fight on the inside, but it's practice makes perfect. Me personally, I just tried to neutralize guys on the inside, holding and things like that. I was like a welterweight Klitschko. Yeah, Bivol Vlassov is a good fight. I'd watch it. Yeah, the pubs are open, guys. The pubs are now back open. Well, I asked this question the other day on Twitter, Simon. Are female boxers allowed to punch the chest? Those things could have exploded. Yeah, that's what I would have done if I was Shannon Courtney. I'd be going for those titties, man. Trying to uppercut those titties. That's what I'd be trying to do. But I'm not sure whether it's legal or not. It's part of a body, so you would imagine it is. Like it'll be like a body shot, I guess. Yeah, seems like the money is there. Just need them to agree to the same venue. Yeah, I would like to know what the actual options are. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is one. I think we know that. Tyson Fury said something about Uzbekistan on his video when he put out that video on Friday. He mentioned Uzbekistan. Are Uzbekistan trying to get that fight? Can you imagine that fight in Uzbekistan? I wouldn't mind Benn versus Broner. I'd even pick Benn to win that at this stage. Santiago was putting hands on Broner, and even though he's less experienced than Benn, he's less experienced than Benn, plus Benn throws way too many punches for Broner. Yeah, I like the idea of that fight. If they could get Adrian Broner over to the UK for Conor Benn, that fight would draw interest. I know Broner these days is a fucking sideshow, but he's still got somewhat of a name value, and it would be a step up for Conor Benn. I wouldn't mind that fight. Jakov Gospic, Ebony will use the purse to upgrade her fake tits. She'll soon be ranked top 3 even after the loss. State of women's boxing. Can't argue with that. I'm surprised she's not opened an OnlyFans yet, to be honest, guys. I'm surprised. How can you not appreciate the skills of Savannah Marshall? I don't know what it is, bro. I just, when I watch it, when I've given it a chance, I just can't get into it. I just can't get into it. I'm not one of these guys who say they shouldn't fight or shouldn't be able to, like, allowed to fight. I wouldn't say that, but I'm just saying I just don't enjoy it, to be honest. I know female boxing isn't your thing, but what about MMA? Female MMA is certainly better than female boxing. I think the quality of athletes better, and they make for better fights, to be honest. But even that, I can't get super into. Big up Dell, Adam Smith on commentary. The weekend was awful. How can this guy still have a job? No wonder he gets so much online abuse. Yeah, Adam Smith is terrible. G-man. That's why I'm kind of hoping that Sky fucking ditch... Sorry, that's why I'm hoping Matchroom ditch Sky and go to like the Zone or something like that. Big up to MMA champ. A world title fight that's 10 2-minute rounds is enough said. At least most women's sports try to do what the guys do, yeah. G-Man, do you think Adam Smith deserves the hate he gets, or should he get more hate? Oh, dear. Yeah, Adam Smith, lots of stories around that man. Yeah, allegedly, I've heard a few things. As we all have. How many years left do you think Spence has at the top? Given the fact there are young sharks swimming around him, does he move up or to dodge it? Maybe, yeah. You know, the thing with Errol Spence Jr. is it's not that he's necessarily all that old. He's like early 30s, but it's the lifestyle he lives. Eventually, that could catch up with him. I mean, after that car crash, we've seen Errol Spence Jr. drunk in press conferences or drunk at shows. So has he learned his lesson? Probably not. He's still ballooning up in weight. So I think his lifestyle is going to get the best of him eventually. And that's a shame because I think he is genuinely a good fighter, Errol Spence. But, yeah, it is what it is. But I think, listen, is he going to fight Virgil Ortiz or Jaron Ennis? We'll see. We'll see. If I was Jaron Ennis, I'd be looking at fighting Quadratilo Abdu Kakarov, who's like the #1 contender in the IBF. That's what I would do if I was Jaron Ennis. I'll try and get myself in position to be a mandatory. That's what I would do. Did you know Kambosos versus Teofimo and Taylor versus Ramirez are allowing fans? No, I didn't. Good news, though. It's always good to see a crowd. Joe Smith reminds me of Carl Froch. I think Joe Smith is even more limited, Pigeon, because at least Carl Froch had a jab. He had a better distance control. Honestly, I think Carl Froch is a better boxer than Joe Smith. Vlassov could easily outbox Canelo, Jesus. Do you know what? Stylistically, that could be a hard fight. The range, the herky-jerky movement, the in-and-out movement. He's versatile as well. Big up to Jamar Prince. Do you think Ebony's fake tits helped her absorb the body shots? Can't imagine getting a clear route to the solar plexus with them. Yeah. Could be right, bro. You could be right. Yeah, Fury said there's some proper random bidders. Not sure if that's true. Yeah, I heard Uzbekistan was one country that was mentioned by Fury. Be hilarious, man. Yeah, so do I, Jim Jones. Big up to Jim Jones, the cult leader. Was his name Jim Jones? I fucking forget. Yeah, get Ian Dark and Glenn McCrory back on. Yeah, I liked Ian Dark. He was a really good commentator. And Glenn McCrory was okay as well. Glenn McCrory weren't too bad. Do you think wins over Formela and Vargas means that Conor can now skip European level as he has British after he went life and death with Paynard? No. To be honest with you, a lot of people are saying that Conor Benn's world level. I've heard a few people say that. Couldn't be further from the truth. I think, listen, I'd like to see him fight David Avanesian. I think that's a good fight for him. Avanesian is a real European level fighter, maybe even a fringe contender at world level. I think Avanesian could be a real good fight for him. It's risky, don't get me wrong, but I think that fight we would find out a lot more about Conor Benn. Great performance against Samuel Vargas. I wasn't expecting it quite like that. I thought Samuel Vargas would give him some rounds. So yeah, great performance by Conor. But at the same time, we do have to take into account that Vargas has been stopped numerous times and he has had a hard career. So you've got to take that into account. Avanesian, though, in his prime, coming off the best form of his career, that would be a big, big test for Conor Benn. I think people need to just calm down a little bit with Conor Benn, saying he can fight this guy, that guy. Do you know what I mean? I've heard people say he beat Sean Porter. I mean, people need to put some respect on Sean Porter's name. This is a guy, in my opinion, who's never clearly been beaten. Very close against Spence. Very close against Keith Thurman. I felt the Kell Brook fight was even close, to be honest. So people need to calm down with Conor Benn. He needs some more fights. He needs some more seasoning, in my opinion. Yeah, of course, man. He will deserve credit. Yeah, 100%, Lewis. If he's saying he's the one working on it. So if it gets made, he deserves credit. All parties deserve credit. Do you think Bud will ever step up and fight top competition? We'll see, man. I mean, last week they was talking about a big announcement for Terence Crawford, but that's not came. So what's he going to do next? I'm just losing interest in Terence Crawford, to be honest. I'm just really losing interest. He's a great fighter, in my opinion, but I can't keep waiting around, waiting for a big fight. That's why a lot of people are really excited by Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, because these older guys at the top of the division, they ain't doing shit right now. They're not taking the fights we want. So that's why guys are getting excited for Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. New blood. Bahrain could be the place. Kinahan is an advisor to the sports ministers. Okay, I never knew that. Interesting. Whyte's fighting in America, even though he's a pay-per-view fighter in the UK. Probably a sign that Eddie's leaving Sky for the Zone. Yeah, maybe. But Eddie also said that Conor Benn is a future pay-per-view star. So are they going to do pay-per-views on the Zone as well now? Or my theory, crazy, was like, this is my theory. I think what you'll see the regular UK shows go to the Zone, and you'll see Sky keep the pay-per-views for the foreseeable future. That's what I think is going to happen. Women's boxing would be unbearable if it was 12 3-minute rounds. Even some men's fights drag on. Yeah, I agree. DAZN is now available in the UK, probably a sign that Sky are getting ditched in due course, yeah. And maybe Sky work with other people in the future, like Sauerland, or even MTK, who knows? Yeah, MTK are definitely playing a big part in that. No doubt. I can't see Spence doing good at 154. Those guys are huge and his style doesn't work well against bigger guys. I agree, Jim Jones, especially when you look at 154 now. Someone like Jamel Charlo, so much bigger, man. So much bigger. I agree. I think Spence will struggle at 154 as it currently stands anyway. I'm still blazing that cookie shit. I don't know what you call it. Cookie something. I don't know what it is. But it's all right, It proper mellows me out, so it's all good. Big up to George C in the building. Salute to George. Hopefully you're well, George. Yeah, exactly. Especially welterweight, one of those divisions as well, where the gap between world and Euro level are huge. Yeah, I agree. I think Conor Benn needs a lot more seasoning, Ruben. I think he needs a lot more seasoning. I wouldn't even moan if Conor Benn fought Michael McKinson next. Tricky southpaw coming off a good win. There's no rush with Conor Benn. He's 24 years old. No amateur background. Well, barely any amateur background. So what's the rush? What's the rush with Conor Benn? It seems like Eddie's so desperate to make a pay-per-view star, which is all well and good, but if you push this guy too much, you could see a Josh Kelly scenario. So he needs to be careful. I'd want to match Conor Benn with a few more tough guys before we even talk about that sort of thing. Why is Ennis getting so much credit for beating up a 140-pounder? I mean, it's true. He was a 140-pounder, but regardless, it was a step up. And, he did what he needed to do, I guess. And he looked good doing it. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of boxing, isn't it? It's the nature of boxing. And the reason, like I said earlier, there's a reason why guys like Ortiz and Ennis are getting so much hype, because the top guys aren't doing anything. They're looking for somebody else to take that throne. Whether Ennis is the goods or not, time will tell. I think he's talented. I think he's got a lot of good physical attributes. He's big for the weight. He can switch stances. He hits hard. He's got nice speed. He can fight on the inside. That kid's a problem. Don't get me wrong. He's got flaws. Like defensively, he is a bit open. Like he kind of fights in that Philly shell at times where he'll get caught by hooks and whatnot. But yeah, he's good, man. He's good. Crawford versus Clayton next. I wouldn't be interested, to be honest, crazy. I wouldn't be interested. I got this stuff right here for free, Jim Jones. Usually I don't. I've knocked that on the head in the last sort of 12 months or so. But yeah, I got this for free, so I thought, why not? It'd be rude not to, right? Be rude not to. That's a one. I think that's what it's called. Did you see Ebony taking shots at Dubois for her not quitting? You're fighting someone yeah, hang on. Did you see Ebony taking shots at Dubois for her not quitting? One, you're fighting someone not even Watford level. Two, you're fighting one less minute each round. Three, where's the nerve damage? Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. See, this is my problem with the people who cover female boxing. They'll point out how much heart Ebony Bridges had and all that shit, and they'll put down men who have quit in fights, but they'll say nothing about the girl that Savannah Marshall fought who quit. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, if you're going to cover female boxing, at least cover it with like the same standards for both. And it's ironic here because these are the same people who say if you don't like female boxing, if you don't respect it, you're a misogynist. But these people are like treating these women, you know, like in a proper patronizing fashion. It's kind of ironic to me. Like, these guys can't even cover that sport. Like, honestly, like, it's a joke in my opinion. It's an absolute joke. Like, for example, yeah, if there's a vacant title at middleweight in the men's division, yeah, and the number 8 and the number 9 ranked fighters in that organization fought for the vacant belt, a lot of people would complain. That's what happened in that Bridges versus Courtney fight. There was like number 8 and 9 ranked, and nobody said anything. It's crazy. It's crazy. XMB 45, whoever wins Jamel versus Castano for undisputed will still probably not be put on people's pound for pound lists, even though they have Estrada and Ioka on the lists, who, no disrespect to them. Why do you think this is? I think Ioka's got a better resume regardless. Whoever wins that fight, Ioka's got a better resume. So is Estrada. I genuinely think that. They fought better competition throughout more divisions as well. Like, Ioka's a 4-weight world champion, and Estrada's what? I think he's a 2 or 3-weight world champion. So they've done it over longer periods of time. They've got better names. So listen, it is what it is, man. But if you put the winner of that fight on pound for pound, I wouldn't moan. Vlassov must feel completely robbed. A draw would have been fair and a rematch. Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, she ain't that good. She ain't that good. Yeah, no, I think Conor versus Avanesian would be a great test for him. I agree, bro. And he was calling out all these names: Amir Khan, Sean Porter, all these guys. Yeah, never mentioned Avanesian. Interesting that. I don't know why. I think that'd be a great fight. Yeah, it is a girl. It is a girl, but I've not smashed her yet. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. I got free weed, yeah, so I'm sure she's going to give it up soon. So there we go. Joe Joyce with one eye after 10 rounds equals death sentence. Exactly, bro. Yeah, 100%. Rachel Bullbag versus Shannon Cuntney. Yeah, I agree, Ruben. I totally agree. That was uncalled for. Don't think Dubois has ever mentioned her in his tweets before. Her latching onto that was classless, in my opinion. I agree. Maybe Ebony's taking shots at Dubois because she wants to take his virginity. Fucking hell. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Dubois is a virgin. He's like proper awkward, man. Like socially awkward. My theory on Dubois is like he was pushed to box from a young age by his dad. I think he's got that Michael Jackson syndrome where he never really grew up. Like, you can tell he's missed out on a lot of social development, Daniel Dubois, the way he interacts with people and how he, like, you know, how he is on interviews, just like screams of somebody who's socially awkward and who's not developed socially. Because at first I thought he might have like a learning difficulty. I'm not taking the piss, and I'm not like mocking it either. But like, that's what I thought at first. But more I think about it, I think he probably, like, his dad really was really hard on him when he was coming up. That's my theory anyway. If Bridges came up in the UK, would she be considered a chav? I think she's a lot nicer without the leg tattoo. A bit of a chav, yeah. A bit of a chav, I guess. While I don't mind Canelo BJS, the rest of the 168 is feeling dead to me at the moment. Can Canelo stay there and still build the legacy he wants? I mean, I agree, man. 168 to me is a bit meh. Like, Billy Joe, he's a talented fighter, but I think he's a fat middleweight, basically. I don't think he belongs at 168. I've never been convinced by his dedication, as talented as he is. So I'm not really excited about Billy Joe. Caleb Plant, I've never really rated, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. He's decent, but that's it. He's decent. He's not like out of this world, brilliant, or, you know what I mean? So 168 to me is not all that interesting. To me, David Benavidez is the wild card in that division. I'm in a pub today, posh pub, first day back after COVID. At 1 p.m, I saw a transvestite going to the female toilet. But I don't give a toss these days. So brazen. That's so wrong, man. Yeah, Pigeon, I 100% agree. 100% agree. And I agree with this as well. That you'll see that in mainstream in the next 5 years or so. There'll be one case of it at least, one like mainstream case of it. YouTube Police is going after Jeff. Oh, apparently Ebony Bridges was like having a little pot shot because he quit, basically. See, with me, yeah, with quitting, I don't think every quit is the same in boxing, to be honest. I don't think every quit is the same. Some quitting deserves to be criticised if you know they had more in the tank. That's fair enough, but Dubois had nothing left, man. His eye was fucked. He was gassing. He was getting beat up. He could see out of one eye. So, listen, in that case, I can understand it. It's a case-by-case basis for me with quitting. It's a case-by-case basis. Yeah, Plant and Benavidez, yeah, they should have fought by now, 100%. I just don't like Caleb Plant, man. I think he's overrated as a fighter. Like, again, I'm not saying he's bad, but I just think he's grossly overrated. I can't stand his character. He reminds me of one of those like fucking 8 Mile starter packs, man. It's so annoying. I think Benavidez beats him up, and I think he knows that as well. Big up to Nareel in the chat. Salute to you, sir. Big up, Dell. Congrats on the 4K subs. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, the Jerwin and Kaz fight, for some reason, got me loads of subs. So it's always good news. It's always good news. But yeah, thank you very much, brother. The amount of undefeated 168s at one time was a joke. It's a travesty. Plant and Benavidez haven't fought. Same with Billy Joe and Callum. Yep, totally agree. Saunders has to come out like Nigel Benn did in the second Eubank fight. I don't know about that. I think he needs to box and move, man. He needs to have a good gas tank, though. I think Billy Joe, if he boxes and moves, he can give Canelo problems for a few rounds. But I've got no faith in Billy's gas tank at all. How many times have we seen this guy gas out? He gassed out in the Ryder fight. He gassed out in the Nick Blackwell fight, the Eubank fight, the Andy Lee fight, the Akovov fight. He's gassed out in so many fights, man. I've got no faith in his gas tank, especially at 168 in that sort of high pressure fight. No, real man. I like Ade. I like Ade. That Vlassov Smith fight was great. Feel like Vlassov was kind of robbed in that fight, though. Yeah, I felt Vlassov won. Again, I never scored that fight round by round. But at the end of the fight, I just felt that Vlassov did enough. I need to go back and score that fight. Yeah, quitting is not always the same. Sean McComb quitting was a head shaker, but not Dubois. I agree, G-Man. It's case by case for me. It's case by case. Big up to Unrivaled. Big up my brother. God bless. Congratulations on reaching 4K subs. Thank you, brother. And Mark also this weekend hit 4K subs. So congratulations to Mark as well. Great channel. If you've not checked out Unrivaled Boxing, check out his channel, man. One of the best on here, man, no doubt. I haven't slept for 3 days waiting for Dell's Courtney Bridges post-fight review. J-Dev, man. Oh dear, dear, oh dear. I'll give Bridges credit for showing some toughness. I'll give her that credit. G-Man is next. Yeah, G-Man will hit that in the next month, I would say. He'll hit that soon. Yeah, Caleb's daughter died after some long-term illness. Maybe it changed him permanently. Maybe. Maybe I'm being harsh on Caleb Plant. Maybe I'm being harsh. Big up to G-Man. Guys like Molina, it's hard to say. Guys like Molina, it's hard to see him quit without feeling a certain way as a fan. But with Dubois, you saw him struggle for rounds on end, and he seems like the type not to let it show till it was unbearable. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Casimiro Tete on BT Sports has 4.9 million views. Asian fighters are supported well. Sell your soul for subs and start covering Asian fighters more. Yeah, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Billy Joe was even gassing in the Coseres fight. He was lucky there. Yeah, late stoppage. He was losing that fight, in my opinion. He looked really bad in that fight. He looked terrible. He looked really bad. I want to see that guy fight again, though. That Argentinian dude. He looked quite decent. I want to see him fight again. How much do you think Bridges and Courtney got? Do they still need a 9-to-5 job? They listen. They generated quite a lot of publicity, so I'm assuming they got paid okay. That's what I reckon, Pigeon. Yeah, about 30 to 35k each. Yeah, 30 to 50k. Yeah, I'd probably say so. Because they did actually generate a bit of interest. Because that's all I saw in my timeline the week of that fight was fucking Bridges Courtney. That's all I saw. Appreciate it, brother. I've got to say this. Lots of channels go underrated, but in my point of view, Delbo is arguably the most underrated channel in the whole community. Thank you very much, man. I'm the Mike McCallum of YouTube. Just underrated. Nah, thank you, though, bro. Thank you very much. What will Ty and Booth say about Courtney versus Bridges? Yeah, I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for him to go live. I'm waiting for him to go live. We need to see it. We need to see it. Damn, for real, taking a beating for like 30k, is it worth it? I'll take a beating for 30k. I'll take a swollen up eye. Mind you, they're not going to see all of that 30k, though. They'll probably see half of it, probably 15k. But even 15k, I'll take a few punches. Why not? Do you know why Carl Frampton fought on Channel 5 and not BT? Was it because of MTK? And if it was, do you see that being an issue for Frank with MTK fighters going forwards? I wasn't really sure what the deal with that was, to be honest. I've got no idea. Oh, yeah, J-Dab. Yeah, Andrade's getting old now. He's getting old. He needs to make a move because his resume is looking slack for a 33-year-old. For a 33-year-old two-weight world champion, his resume is quite poor. What's his best wins? Selecki, Willie Nelson, and Vanes Martelosian. He's been pro now for what, 13 years? I think he turned pro in 2008, maybe. He's been pro. Yeah, he's been pro over 10 years. A two-weight world champion. And they're his best names. It's not looking good for Demetrius Andrade. I like this Liam Williams fight for him, though. At least Liam Williams has a pulse. He's got power. He'll make Andrade fight. I think Andrade wins that fight. But after that, we need to see Andrade try to unify, you know? I want to see him fight Golovkin or fucking Murata, Charlo. These sort of fights we need for Demetrius Andrade. I think that's on DAZN UK. Crazy. I'm pretty sure it's on DAZN because Eddie won Eddie. Did he win the purse bid or yeah? But he's promoting it, so it's going to be on DAZN. What's Billy Joe going to do against Canelo? I'm confused. He's being coy. He's going to just stick and move, Pigeon. He'll stick and move and try and nick a fight on points. I think he'll try and follow the Lara blueprint. To be honest, He'll try and do what Lara did. Just pop away with a jab, try and time Canelo coming in with a straight left and just get out, rinse and repeat. And I think he'll actually have success against Canelo early on. I think you might see him win like 3 of the first sort of 4-5 rounds or so. But I think as that fight goes on, you'll see him slow down ever so slightly. Canelo's going to find that body, break him down, and either stop him late or win on points. Ruiz Arreola, how long does it last? I think Arreola's going to get fucked up, George. Honestly, I do. Arreola, listen, tough dude. He'll come to fight, but he's what, 38, 39 now, had a real hard career, taken beatings, been out of a ring for quite some time, never taken it seriously. Arreola's going to get fucked up. He's going to get knocked out, I would say, in 4 or 5 rounds. It's going to be pretty quick, in my opinion. It's going to be pretty quick. Courtney now has a little belt. She thinks she's the shit. You know, like Ramanathan when she squared up to Prince Patel, something like that, I can imagine. Yeah. You have a number 8 and number 9 ranked WBA fighters fought for a vacant belt. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah, Carlos Gongora, co-main event for Andrade Williams. He was in a mad fight last time out. Yeah, I'll tell you what, his fight with Ali Akhmedov was real underrated. Real good fight. I thought Gongora looked quite good in that fight as well. So good to see him back. He's fighting Christopher Pearson, who's not great. I expect Gongora to win that fight easily, to be honest. I expect Gongora to win easy. How happy are you to see that Whyte has started piping up again after beating a 41-year-old long COVID riddled Sasha? Think Fury's claim as number 1 heavyweight is at risk now, laughing my ass off. Yeah, I heard Dillian Whyte said this. Yeah, I saw a little thing on Twitter. He said that how can Tyson Fury versus Joshua be undisputed when Tyson Fury isn't the undisputed WBC champion? So he's alluding to he's got the interim belt, so therefore Tyson Fury's not a real champion. What a load of shit. What a load of shit. Yeah, Willie Nelson, that beast. Yeah, exactly. You're really scraping the barrel if Willie Nelson's a top win on your resume. Yeah, 2 to 3 rounds maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, G-Man. I wouldn't be surprised. Lara should have fought Jamel Charlo. I can see him winning that. Listen, Lara a few years ago, yeah, I could see it. But now I think Lara's done. Not done, but like his legs have real slowed down. They've really slowed down. Erislandy Lara. We saw that in the Jarrett Hurd fight. He wasn't moving as much. He was sitting in the pocket a lot more. I think Jamel Charlo would get to Erislandy Lara, to be honest. How many punches do you think Ruiz can throw by the time it takes Arreola to jab? That's a good question. In his Andrade interview, Andrade called out Dominic Ingle as the drugs king. Yeah, listen, the Ingle gym has a lot of there's a lot of things to question with the Ingle gym. There's no doubt about it. You know, they've got history, multiple fighters failing, Billy Joe, Kid Galahad, the Belgian cruiserweight as well, Yves Ngarbu. You know, all of these guys have failed tests in recent times. And I've heard stories on the down low about the Ingle gym, which I can't obviously repeat because it's unfounded, but I think they are very dodgy. There's no doubt about it. And look at the state of Dominic Ingle, by the way. Look at the size he is, man. That guy's not natural, man. He's not natural at that age. I doubt it. I think Plant does better than Billy Joe against Canelo. Not saying he wins, but he is much more disciplined, a natural 168-pounder, and has better defense. I actually think Saunders has better defense. I think Caleb Plant's defense is vastly overrated. He you know, that Philly shoulder roll that he does, like, it's so porous, man. You know, even Caleb Truax, every time he threw that right hand, it was landing. Like, Caleb couldn't really defend against it. The thing with Caleb Plant is he's so side on, doesn't move his feet. He invites pressure on himself. He doesn't have the power to keep you honest. And yeah, that's why I think Benavidez beats him. Benavidez is just going to keep coming forwards with relentless pressure, high punch output. What can Caleb Plant do? He's not got the legs to move around for 12 rounds, in my opinion. He's not got the power to keep to keep Benavidez honest. He's gonna invite pressure on himself and he'll get broken down, in my opinion. I think it's because Prince Patel's a fucking gobshite, Jim Jones. That's all really it is. Ruiz Areola goes 8, and he's getting overrated on his power because he beat AJ. Yeah, I think you are right on that. I think Ruiz's power has become a bit overrated. Like, I mean, he never put a dent in Sergey Liakovic, for example. He never put a dent in Kevin Johnson. So I think that he just caught AJ in the perfect storm, to be honest. I'm not saying Ruiz can't punch. He clearly can, but I wouldn't say he's a top 5 puncher in the division. But I just think Areola is so shot now. I think he'll get him out of there quick. I really do. Lara a few years ago was being trained by Ronnie Shields, the same as Charlo at the time. Yeah, that's true. Exactly, G-Man. Yeah. They was all being trained by Ronnie, yeah. People can't underestimate Areola's chin. Yeah, he's always been durable. He's always been durable, but eventually that's going to crack. Eventually it cracks, and I think it will crack against Andy Ruiz. I think he'll get stopped by accumulation, like a combination where he's not answering back, and the referee will jump in to stop it. Yeah, undisputed WBC champion, laugh out loud. Dillian's talking rubbish. Yeah, I think he's got solid power, Andy Ruiz. It's not like crazy though. Like guys like Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Wilder, all of these guys hit harder. Even Povetkin. Big up Del, congrats on 4K subs, well deserved. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Big up to Triple J. Yeah, man's gone exactly unrivaled. Man's gone with distance 10 times. He's not a knockout artist. Ruiz Areola could easily go the distance. I just think it's because Areola's so shot. Like a prime Areola, yeah, I'd say 100% he goes for distance, but he's just so far past his best now. Will Renato improve Ruiz's power? Maybe more hip rotation now the belly's gone. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing you got to take into account. All of these guys recently, when they go to Reynoso, these guys are looking like fucking killers, man. Like fucking killers. Even randoms who come over, like the guy who fought Robbie Davis Jr., he fucking beat Robbie Davis up. All of these guys are looking like fucking Jason Voorhees in there, taking guys out, fucking murdering people. So, yeah, that's another thing you got to consider, the Reynoso factor. Let's not make out like it didn't take Andy 5 rounds to KO a shot, no chin, Dimitrenko. Yep, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, Mr. Flex Wheeler, not the casual's favourite trainer nowadays. He always reminds me of Right Said Fred, Dominic Ingle. He's a Right Said Fred fucking tribute act. Have you seen him when he tries to fucking play that guitar and sing? It's fucking cringeworthy. Honestly, cringeworthy. What I could really do with right now, a nice cold beer. Do we go out and get some after this stream? That's the question. Dillian waited 1,000 days for a WBC title shot. To Spence say the real WBC holder isn't the full champion because he doesn't have the interim. Why was he waiting so long for the WBC then? That's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, he couldn't get Franklin Lawrence out of there either. Yeah, exactly. And I think he caught AJ as AJ was committing as well, so that doubled the force. Caught him on the temple as well. I think it was just the perfect storm. He can definitely punch a bit, but like he's not like a one-hitter quitter. Andy Ruiz never has been. Dominic Ingle eats fruit pastels laced with horse hormones. The state of that guy, man, honestly. Oh dear. Benavidez took a lot of clean shots against Ellis. Anybody that can punch and has a chin can give him trouble, in my opinion. I agree, but I don't think Caleb Plant's the guy to do it. I really don't. Dominic Ingle once gave an interview with his back towards the camera. Found that very odd. Yeah, he's always. Have you seen his interviews? Yeah, he's always fucking low key flexing. It's embarrassing. He's like always low key flexing. Big up to Nordic Warrior. What's up, my brothers and sisters? Praise be our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. God bless each and every one of you. Stay vigilant every single time, man. You got to always stay vigilant in this crazy world. Yeah, the circus continues now. Maidana's talking about a comeback. Yep, all of these guys are, man. One of these guys needs to get seriously hurt, and then it might stop. Dominic Ingle or Adam Booth, 16-year-old prospect. Who would you go to? I'd go to Dominic Ingle, Pigeon, because I do think Dominic's a better trainer than Adam Booth, and also you're going to get fucking top supplements as well. So I'd go Dominic Ingle personally. Not that I think Dominic's a great trainer, but I think he's better than Adam Booth. Wilder knocks out Whyte within 4 rounds. Listen, it's perfectly possible, given how bad Dillion's defense is. Like people say about Wilder's defense and his like technique, yeah, it's bad, but so's Dillian Whyte's, man. And he's a much shorter guy with less reach as well. So Dillian getting to the inside is not going to be easy. Like he doesn't have the attributes that Tyson had. He doesn't have a foot speed. He doesn't have a size. He doesn't have the head movement. He doesn't have the ability to feint. He doesn't have that double jab. You know, he doesn't have the inside game of Tyson Fury, I would say. Like Tyson had so many more attributes, both physically and technically, to do what he did against Wilder. Dillian's got slow feet. He's got a porous defense. He throws out of range far too often. And when you do that against Wilder, listen, if you throw out of range against Wilder to all of his bad points, Wilder can time you and knock you out. I really think if Wilder is where he was, I really think he'll knock out Dillian Whyte. I really do. Don't get me wrong, if Dillian does get to the inside, he can break Wilder down. There's no doubt about it. It's just that it's going to be a lot harder for Dillian to get to the inside in comparison to Fury. Going to be a lot harder. A shot Areola went the distance with Kalnacki. I think that was his last stand, though. Yeah, Ruiz is on the Mexican beef, yep. Kalnacki and Gorman, yeah, people thought they was top prospects, yep. Listen, I never really rated Kalnacki that highly, to be honest. I thought Gorman would do better than he's done, though. A prime Areola was when he was getting beaten up by Vitaly Klitschko. Vitaly fucking beat the piss out of Chris Areola, man. He beat the piss out of him. Like, made him cry and everything. I fucking remember that. Like, I remember that fight, yeah. I was fucking young. I was like 15 at the time. But I shit you not. People back then were saying that fucking Areola had a good chance against Vitaly Klitschko. People forget these things, man. Hearing that Dom gets his sleeves tightened on his t-shirts says it all about him, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree, Nordic. Yeah, I'd agree. Ruiz Areola, round 10, won't come out for the 11th TKO stoppage. Yeah, you could see that happening, him getting pulled out. That's true, Will. Yeah, Kalnacki certainly did. He did a lot more than fucking Nathan Gorman. Yeah, Klitschko and Adamek handily beat a prime Areola. Yeah, I forget about the Adamek fight, Nordic. I forget about that fight because Adamek kind of low-key schooled him. I'll be honest. Andy goes for distance and rounds because his opponents run like Parker did. Areola's going to be right in front of him and will get sparked early. I could see it. I could easily see it. Lawrence got KO'd in 1 round by Bermain Stavern, Buffet King Bermain. Yeah, he did. Who do you think wins, Jamal Charlo or Benavidez? Great fight. Yes, a great fight, man. Charlo's the boxer puncher. It's whether Charlo's power actually translates to 168. It's how well his power translates. If he can't get Benavidez's respect, he gets walked down, in my opinion, and either stopped late or outworked. I think Benavidez beats him. I'm out taking my cat for a walk. I look even more strange than usual tonight. You're taking your cat for a walk, bruv? Yeah, let's not... Oh, yeah, exactly. We need the return of the GOAT, Christopher Lovejoy. Apparently, he's fighting fucking Manuel Char. So there's that to look forward to. Big up to Levi Khan in the building. Wish I had Ingle's body. He's like my age. Yeah, he's like 50, any Dominic Ingle. He looks good for his age. There's no doubt about it. But you need to get on those supplements, Pigeon. You need to get on those supplements. I think crazy D3. I think Jermaine Franklin is absolutely awful. To be honest, I think he's terrible. Stephen Shaw. I've seen a bit of Stephen Shaw. I don't think he's great, but I think he's got enough to beat Jermaine Franklin. I think he'll beat Jermaine Franklin, to be honest. Whyte's literally just learned to throw a straight right. Exactly. And that's another thing, Ruben, you're 100% right on. He falls in on every other shot, yeah. And it's when he throws from distance. He throws from out of range way too often, man. His gauge of distance is really poor from the outside. Like when to throw a shot, when not to throw a shot. It's really poor. And against Wilder, with how quick he throws that straight right hand, I think that could be Dillian Whyte's undoing. I really do. I think Shaw will likely win that one. Yeah, I agree. Yo, Delboy, what's up? See Lucas Rozansky step up, 13 wins, 12 knockouts. He's 35 now. Yeah, apparently Lucas Rozansky's fighting Arthur Spielka next. Whyte will fall to pieces once he senses the power, even glancing shots. Wilder versus Whyte could look like a rerun of Joshua Whyte in some ways, just with even less fundamentals on show. It'll be a good fight, bro. It'll be a good fight because both guys are so technically flawed, but they hit hard. They're vulnerable. It'll be a good fight, Whyte versus Wilder. See, I think that's the fight to make for those guys because let's face it, it's a high-profile fight. It would draw a lot of attention, and the winner would put themselves in a good position to fight the winner of Fury Joshua. Because that would be super high profile. Forget mandatories and all this shit. It's all about the money. And the winner of that fight's in a real good position if it gets made. Yeah, Rozansky versus Spielka at Bridgerweight. I know that fight's going to happen, but is it going to be at Bridgerweight? I never knew that. Wilder and Whyte. Battle of the Wankers, may the best dildo win. Wilder this, Wilder that, Wilder is trash. Listen, man, Dillian Whyte's not exactly Pernell Whitaker, mate. Dillian Whyte is not exactly Pernell Whitaker. He's been hurt in fucking numerous fights. He's been knocked out fucking cold twice. Got iced by Joshua. Got iced by an old Povetkin. Got rocked to his boots by Robert Helenius. Got dropped on his ass by Joseph Parker. Got dropped by Oscar Rivas. Got hurt by Derek Chisora in both fights. Am I missing anything? Like, the guy's vulnerable, man. He makes a lot of fucking mistakes. He could easily get chinned by Wilder. As much as we don't like Wilder, and as silly as he is, he could knock out Dillian Whyte. Yeah, can picture again Areola's bright red face after Vitali finished with him. Yeah. He made fucking Areola's nose twice the size as it already was. Areola's IQ must have been in the negative for a period after the Vitali fight. Yeah, Herbie Hyde. Herbie Hyde could punch, Mr. Relax. Herbie Hyde could really punch. He had speed. He had power. He was a good fighter, Herbie Hyde. I think, what's his name? Riddick Bowe said that, Riddick Bowe said Herbie Hyde was the hardest puncher he ever fought. Like, he never got hit that hard. Herbie Hyde was never really a heavyweight, though. He should have been a cruiserweight. If Herbie Hyde was a cruiserweight, he would have had fucking success in the 90s. Herbie Hyde, he would have beaten Johnny Nelson. I think he would have done at cruiserweight. Herbie would have knocked out Johnny Nelson. I've said it. I used to have a rabbit that I would take for walks on the lead. Yeah, he was a glass cannon, Nordic. He was a glass cannon, yeah, 100%. But he was a good fighter. He had ability. He had talent. He had speed. He was explosive. You know, he was a good fighter. Nordic Dungon disappeared. He's here, man. I can see Nordic. Vitali versus Hyde was brutal. Yep. Wilder round 1 Brazil repeat, bruv. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked whoever wins that fight. I'm not saying Dillian doesn't beat Wilder or can't beat Wilder. I just think, the whole notion that all Dillian needs to do is walk him down and stop him, I think that's far-fetched, considering all the technical flaws Dillian has. We know about Wilder's technical flaws, but let's be honest, man. Dillian has a lot himself. He does. Yeah, he had crazy power, Benjo. He had crazy power. I think that guy would have been a really good cruiserweight. He would have been a world champion at cruiserweight in the late 90s. No doubt about it. Big up to Official Scorecard Boxing Science. Another really good channel, man. Big up to Official. Yeah, he's not a good boxer, Deontay. But against Dillian, that right hand will be there for him. I really think he'll knock out Dillian Whyte. If he's not like mentally fucked, I think he'll beat Dillian Whyte. Joseph Parker's output's terrible. I think Chisora wins. That's a hard fight to call. If Joseph Parker should win that fight, he's a better boxer. He's got better technique, better mover, better combination puncher, better speed. He should beat Chisora, but like his hunger, man, is so lacking right now. You could see Chisora just out muscling him and just dog walking him and winning on points. But we'll see, man. I'm kind of struggling on that fight with my prediction. I'll be honest. My brain tells me Wilder wins, but I'd absolutely love Whyte to do it. He absolutely could destroy Wilder, but I think he'll get caught. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Dillian could knock out Wilder if he gets up close. He could definitely knock out Wilder, but it's getting there for Dillian. Didn't Bo only have like 3 real title fights? He was overrated, I think. Yeah, he had a few. So what? The Holyfield fights. He defended against what? Jesse Ferguson. Who was the other dude? Was it Michael Dokes? Maybe he didn't have many title fights. I want to say 5 at max. No proper heavyweight loses to Chisora. It's basically a death sentence of you earning good money again. Yeah, listen, if Joseph has any ambition, he needs to beat fucking Derek. He needs to beat Derek. Yeah, Razor Ruddock, yeah, that smash punch, he could really fucking crack Razor Ruddock. He could really punch. Ariola's skin's as thick as poo, let's laugh out loud. Can you imagine if Herbie fought at cruiserweight? Maybe we'd never see the company man on Sky every week. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. Like, Johnny Nelson to me is like the most overrated cruiserweight of all time. Like, yeah, he had a lot of title defenses, but let's be honest. That was when the WBO really wasn't recognized. And look at the resume. It's really, really poor. The Carl Thompson win is a good win on paper, but even that fight, man, like that was a horrible stoppage. I think he beat Ezra Sellers as well. But his cruiserweight resume is poor, man. His cruiserweight resume is poor. Like in a head-to-head scenario, I wouldn't pick Johnny Nelson to beat Lebedev, Neris Briadis, Murat Gassiev, Alexander Usyk, Evander Holyfield, David Haye, Thomas Adamek, Steve Cunningham, Juan Pablo Hernandez. I'd pick all of these guys to beat Johnny Nelson head-to-head. All of them. Christoph Lodarczyk, Herbie Hyde. Fucking all of these guys I think would beat Johnny Nelson. Like, Sky have done a great job with Johnny Nelson and like revisionist history with how good he really was. He was an awkward dude who could spoil his way to a decision. That was really it. He wasn't anything special, Johnny Nelson. He really wasn't. Just my opinion. But let's not forget Wilder has only ever fought 2 good opponents. One almost stopped him the first time and scored him every other round until he got stopped. Yeah, and the other beat him twice. Yeah, that's true. Ian Ward, he says, evening, Delboy. Who wins out of Conor Benn versus Amir Khan and Conor Benn versus David Avanesian? I think at this stage, Conor Benn probably beats Amir Khan, to be honest. I think Amir Khan's too long in the tooth. And Amir Khan's stamina now is a lot worse than it was. He's still got hand speed, but I think Conor would catch him. Avanesian's a hard fight, though. I'd probably still favour Avanesian to beat Conor Benn. Herbie Hyde to come back and take the Bridgerweight title. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Haydar, man. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good, mate. Been a long day. Yeah, he had the WBO heavyweight title for a bit. Yeah, I think he beat Michael Benn. I'm sure he beat Michael Benn for that title. Conor punches Khan through the ropes. That's a complete mismatch. To be honest with you, I'm surprised we're even having this conversation with Conor Benn, because when he turned pro, I thought he looked terrible, to be honest, when Conor Benn turned pro. But to his credit, man, he's come on a long way. He's improved a lot, Conor Benn, and he's actually a decent fighter. But I think some of the talk has been a bit too much. Like, people are talking about Sean Porter and shit like that. Just relax, man. Just give this guy a few more good learning fights, and we'll see where he's at. See, I would say Michael McKinson next for Conor Benn, and then Avanesian. That's what I would say. Michael McKinson in the summer, unbeaten southpaw, awkward, tricky, coming off a good win. And then towards the end of the year, Conor Benn, David Avanesian. That's what I would do. By the way, big up to Jazz for the contribution. He says, big up to you, sir. Thank you for the contribution. Always helps us out. It always helps the channel. So, yes, big up to Jazz, man. Another one of the long-term subscribers. Been here for ages, man. Been here for ages. Ruben Guerrero, if Parker loses to Chisora, pack it in. That's fall from grace to his height on the come-up, yeah. On the come-up, Joseph Parker looked so impressive, man. Hand speed, power. He was dealing with these guys, man. But when he got to elite level, we kind of found out that his hunger really wasn't where it should be. And that's the thing with Joseph Parker that I find most frustrating, is like, he's got decent hand speed. He's got decent boxing ability. His power's respectable. He's got a great chin. He's got a lot of attributes a lot of heavyweights would kill to have. But it's his fighting instinct, it's his desire that just isn't quite there, to be honest. That's what lets Joseph Parker down. I always go back to that Dillian Whyte fight. To me, Dillian Whyte didn't win that fight. Joseph Parker lost it. If Joseph Parker had the same dog that Dillian Whyte had, he'd have won that fight. I'm sure of it. But there we go. It's one of those things. I honestly think that Joshua permanently broke Dillian Whyte's chin. Yeah, like he's been getting hurt regularly, man. And he's been knocked out again since. You could be right. See, when you take those flush shots constantly at heavyweight, it's going to take its toll, man. Fight by fight, it's going to take its toll. It's not going to get any better. Yeah, Yunia Dorticos, another guy who I would pick to beat Johnny Nelson. And I'm not saying it just to put down Johnny Nelson, but from what I've seen of Johnny Nelson and what I've seen of these other guys, I can't see how Johnny Nelson beats these guys. Herbie Hyde would have put a hurt on Nelson. Don't hate on Nelson, though. He got a few decent results. Yeah, he had a good title reign. He did have a long title reign, at least. Yeah, he is. Avanesian is underrated. He's a dangerous guy, man. Brings that pressure, hits hard. He's durable as well. Ty and Booth said that he sparred Johnny Nelson and said he couldn't land a punch on him. Yeah, he was awkward, Johnny Nelson. He was awkward. Yeah, exactly, G-Man. Smash the like. G-Man's got to shoot the smash the like button, lads. Yeah, 100%, man. Always helps us out. Yeah, Padger. Conor Benn looked explosive, but we need to see how many rounds he throws with that same venom. Exactly. We want to see a guy make him work, take him rounds. Yeah, 100%. That's why I think this talk's too premature right now of him fighting Porter and all these guys, man. He needs some more fights. Bear in mind, he didn't really have any amateur background either. And he's 24 years old. There's no rush. Now, if he goes and does that to David Avanesian, then we're really talking. But we need to chill a little bit on Conor Benn. And one thing Conor has over Avanesian, unlike Josh Kelly, Conor will put it on David and has faster hands. Yeah. He definitely has more to make David respect him. Like Josh Kelly can't really punch, and he never got David's respect. Even when he was catching David flush, never really got his respect. Conor, he's a more snappy puncher than David Avanesian. So I think you're right about that. Is that going to be announced today, Haydar, the Buatsi card? Interesting. Nah, man, but sorry. Well, hang on. Jesus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those fights would give us an accurate view of where Conor's level is. If he dares to win, Eddie can always inflate his level to fans, yeah. Muller's 27. Nelson said Ben beats Porter, which I thought was crazy even for him. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's what fucking Johnny Nelson's about. He said that fucking James Tennyson could beat Tank Davis. Like, Tennyson can punch in that, but fuck me. That's terrible. Yeah, Kavalauskas, again, that's another name for Conor Benn. There's a long way to go for Conor Benn. Look, some guy was telling me that Conor Benn was world level. I mean, come on, man. I know he comes out with some crazy remarks, but I've always loved Johnny. Not going to lie, find him very entertaining. Yeah, he's a funny dude, man. He's a funny dude, but I don't really appreciate his takes all that much. Yeah, I think Josh Kelly's going to start clout chasing Conor Benn. Seems like the tide has shifted. Yeah, he already has, Pigeon. He was calling him out on Twitter after Conor Benn won. So I don't remember you smoking on the live as often as lately. Laugh out loud. What can I say, man? Is Buatsi back? I forgot about him after the Kalic. Was it the dude? Yeah, Kalic was the last guy he fought, and he got pieced up in that fight. Like, his defense in that fight kind of got exposed, got his eye fucked up. So we need to see a lot of improvements from Buatsi. I like Buatsi. I like his style. Seems like a good dude as well, but he's got a lot of improvements to make. Again, that's another guy who Eddie was saying who's like world level. Then, I mean, there's a long way to go. What happens if you put, let's say, Buatsi? You look at Buatsi versus Kalic, a tall, rangy, light heavyweight who was throwing good straight punches. Look at how much trouble Buatsi had. Imagine Buatsi versus Maxim Vlassov, a 6'4" light heavyweight who's awkward as fuck, who's got great punch output, who's got respectable power. I think that ends badly for Joshua Buatsi. But again, he's another guy who it appears they're going to rush him. He's not ready yet. He is not ready, Joshua Buatsi. Someone like Isaac Chilemba would be ideal for Buatsi in his next fight. An Isaac Chilemba type. A guy who can take him rounds, who's durable, who's experienced, but who's not really a big puncher. You know, that's the sort of guy Buatsi should fight next, in my opinion. Big up to Packer 0313. Congrats on 4K subs. Great channel. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. That's what Eddie said. Sorry, that's what Eddie said on Sunday or Monday. We didn't hear anything from Matchroom, so should be announced today. Yeah, I'll be interested to see who Buatsi's fighting. I'll be interested. Yeah, Conor needs 1 or 2 more high-level fights for me to take him as a threat. I agree, Pigeon. Yeah, I agree. If he were to beat someone like Avanesian in impressive fashion, then we can start talking. Buatsi versus Marcus Brown, I think. See, that would be a massive step up, J-Dav. That would be a massive step up. I know Marcus got fucking chinned in his last fight against John Pascal, but like, Marcus has hand speed. He can punch. He's a quick dude. He's rangy. Marcus Brown would be a real hard fight. I think Ben's very small for the weight. Once he gets to elite level, it will tell. I would like to see him move down to 140. I've said this for a long time, Mullers. He looks tiny at welterweight. He's got short arms. You know, he doesn't look all that bulky. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's almost like Eddie's approach to building fighters is to get them a title shot as quickly as possible, then work your way back to find their true level. Yeah. Yeah, his defense in that fight looked awful, Pigeon. Like, he was getting caught by the straight punches far too fucking often. Because he comes in quite square on, he throws a lot of wide punches, so he's open to straight punches, Buatsi. And if Kalic could punch, he would have been in a lot of trouble. And Pigeon says he don't rate Buatsi. I think he's got talent. Like, offensively, he's got talent. He throws some nice combinations. He's got decent power, good body puncher. But yeah, defensively, man, is where his problems lie. Ebony Bridges is the biggest revelation in boxing for me. Known her for quite a long time, but only realised how good her personality was after watching the build-up to Saturday. Yeah, she certainly sold that fight. She certainly sold that fight well. Scott Fitzgerald returning on the Chisora Parker card. Good to see him back, Haydar. It's good to see him back. I like Scott Fitzgerald. But, you know, the way he lives his life outside the ring is it's going to catch up to him eventually. Again, man, if they're feeling ballsy, chuck in Jean Pascal with Joshua Buatsi. Why not? Fuck it. Why not? So Will Stokes actually had Ebony Bridges winning that fight. I never saw it, Will, to be honest with you. All I saw was the pictures after that fight about her eye and shit. That's all I really saw. What do you think about Buatsi linking up with Virgil Hunter? It's an interesting one, Haydar, because obviously Virgil Hunter did a great job with Andre Ward, but apart from that, man, I don't think he's really improved any other fighter. Like Amir Khan, to me, Amir Khan looked best under Freddie Roach. He worked with Angulo. I think he worked with did he work with Andre Berto as well? Like Virgil Hunter with fighters not named Andre Ward hasn't really impressed me. So I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, Haydar. I'm not really sure. But, you know, Virgil Hunter likes to concentrate on defense, and Buatsi needs to improve on that. So maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll work out, but I'm unconvinced. The best thing about that move for me is that Buatsi now is going to get good quality sparring in the States. That's the best thing about that move, is the sparring. Because you're always going to get better sparring in the States than the UK. And that's always going to help you improve as a fighter, to get top quality sparring. So, yeah, I mean, I hope it works out for him. I hope it works out for him. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like button, be much appreciated. Be much appreciated. Yeah, he's got a lot of problems outside the ring. I've heard a few things about Scott Fitzgerald, but again, it can't really be collaborated. But like things like gambling, drinking, and shit like that, you know, he's talented though. Scott Fitzgerald, he's a talented fighter. He won the Commonwealth gold medal. He was a good amateur. He's got abilities, Scott, but you know, just not got his head screwed on right. Salute to Adam Scott. Big up to Adam. Yard seems to have much more about him than Buatsi at the moment, which is remarkable considering the difference in amateur pedigree. I'm not sure, man, with Anthony Yard right now. I'm not sure with Anthony Yard. Like he threw that fight with Lyndon Arthur away, in my opinion. He threw it away. Like he could have won that fight, man, but his confidence just wasn't there to let go of his punches. I wonder whether Anthony Yard has a few insecurities in regards to his gas tank. That's what it looked like to me after that Kovalev fight. I think that those ghosts still kind of haunted him in that Arthur fight. He was kind of scared to let it all go. If he did that, though, I think he would have beaten Anthony Yard. I really do. Buatsi should have linked up with Tunde. Anthony Yard is technically better than Andre Ward. Fuck you know. I remember when fucking what's his name said that, when Tunde said that he was better than Andre Ward, more talented, technically better. It's hilarious, man. Oh, it's hilarious. Okay, so Tommy Fury's gone out to Vegas to do a camp as well. Yeah, that's good for Tommy Fury. I don't really rate Tommy Fury, to be honest with you. I don't really rate him. He's got the family name, but that's really it. Have you seen the McFlane Edwards undercard? What are your thoughts? Let's have a look at it. Let's go on BoxRec. Fighting, yes, it's Sonny Edwards, isn't it? Sonny Edwards, Murphy, McFlane. Let me have a look. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look. See, that fight's coming up around the corner. Okay, yeah, so Sonny Edwards versus McFlane. That's a good headliner, world title fight. Michael Conlon versus Ionut Baluta. That's a good fight. Baluta's actually coming off a couple of good wins. He beat TJ Dehaney and David Oliver Joyce. So that's a good fight. Troy Williamson versus Kieran Smith's a good fight. Yes, it's a decent card. It's a decent card, actually. That's a pretty good card. Yeah. See, that's what I heard people say. Shannon won the fight. I never saw it, though. Yeah, that was my favourite night of that year. That was 2019, wasn't it? That was my favourite moment of that year when fucking Scott Fitzgerald put fucking Anthony Fowler on his ass. Was amazing, man. I watched that fight back so many times, by the way. I've seen that fight back so many times. If you're talking about the fights in the last 2-3 years that I've watched the most, that's probably number one, believe it or not. Yeah, that was a close fight. The Cheeseman versus Fitzgerald fight was genuinely close, but like to make out it was a robbery was a joke. I felt Fitzgerald just about nicked it. And yeah, the Cheese was moaning. He was moaning. He was moaning a lot. Intangible. Yeah, that's the thing. If he can make it competitive and see out the distance, he could get a gift decision. I see why they've taken the fight intangible. If McFlane has 70% left, he should win comfortably, but it's a gamble worth taking because he's 38 years old. He's been relatively inactive. You know, eventually the wheels have got to fall off. So I see why they've taken that fight, but McFlane is fucking underrated, man. He really is underrated. He's not lost since Daenerys. When was that? 2008, 2009? Been unbeaten a long time now. So I would expect McFlane to win, but I see why they've made that fight. I see why they've made it. Hamza Shiraz versus Troy Williamson. What are your thoughts? I think Hamza would beat him. Haydar. I think Hamza would beat him. I've not really been impressed with Troy Williamson. I saw him in the Harry Scarf fight, and he really struggled. So I think Hamza beats him. If I'm being honest, I think that Hamza Shiraz is a decent prospect. Actually, he's quite decent. Still very young as well. So yeah, I think Hamza beats him. I'll watch it, Pigeon. I'll watch it. I'll watch it the next day, though. I won't watch it live. I'll watch it the next day. I think fucking Jake Paul's gonna knock him out. You know, I think Jake Paul's gonna knock him out. Sorry, I hope so. Anyway, I hope Jake Paul knocks him out just for the banter because he gets on people's nerves. Jake Paul. I always like trolls, man. I like trolls. Yeah, I think Cheeseman's okay. I think he's a decent dude. But to be honest, Will, I've got this horrible feeling that Anthony Fowler beats him. You know, I think one thing about Anthony Fowler, for all of his flaws, he can really punch Anthony Fowler. He's got genuine power, and Cheeseman has no defense. Like Cheeseman's defense is real poor. I think in that fight, Cheeseman needs to box how he boxed Scott Fitzgerald in the first half when he was boxing from range. That's what he needs to do in that fight. If he meets Anthony Fowler head on, I honestly think he could get stopped. Sorry, can't fucking speak. I've had a few too many spliffs, man. Can't fucking speak, bruh. I can't speak. The most cringe fight I ever saw was Eggington Malinagi. I mean, why? Why did anyone have to experience that? Yeah, that is hilarious. Yeah, when fucking Paulie was just teeing off on fucking Eggington. It's hilarious. He's like, Paulie landed like a fucking 8-punch combination, yeah, and Eggington was just standing there like a gormless cunt. Nothing even, like, didn't hurt him whatsoever. It's hilarious. Yeah, I think he's quite good, official Hamza Shiraz. Like, he's one of those guys, he's quite big for the weight, and he does everything well. Like, he's technically well-rounded. I think he looks quite good, to be honest. I think he looks quite decent. He looks handy, Hamza Shiraz. He looks handy. Fucking hell. Cheeseman has dodgy fondue defense. He needs to be more like Stilton. 100%, bro. His defense has got more holes than fucking Swiss cheese, man. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that fight. It was actually quite a good fight, though, from what I remember. It was quite fun for what it was. Back in the days when Sam Eggington was on every other Sky card. Fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm really debating going to get some beer. I shouldn't really drive though because I'm high as fuck. Don't really want to walk though, to be honest with you. Don't really want to walk. No, I'll walk. I'm not that much of a cunt. I'll walk. Yeah, Danny Dignam versus Sorokin. Don't rate Dignam at all from what I've seen. Yeah, I've seen Dignam a couple of times. He's basic as fuck. But Sorokin isn't that good anyway. I'd probably take Sorokin, to be honest, though. I'd probably still take Sorokin to win that fight. I'll take Sorokin. No, I'm not going to drive, Pigeon. I'm not going to drive. Just too fucking lazy, man. I might just leave it, you know. Might just leave it. Yeah, yeah. If I do go, I'll walk it. Be my luck to get caught, you know. Be just my fucking luck. Big up to Vision. He says, "What's your thoughts on Taylor Crawford if he moves up after becoming undisputed?" Yeah, man, I'd support it. I'd be interested. The only thing I will say, I'd like to see Taylor have one fight at 147 first, like an interim fight, just to get used to the weight, see what we're looking at, kind of thing. So if Taylor moves up, let's say Taylor beats Ramirez and he moves up, have Taylor fight someone like, I don't know, Josecito Lopez, for example. A good gauge of where he'd be at 147. That's what I would say anyway. I caved in and walked for a beer just now. I don't want to go to the pub because I only like standing at a bar, really. Yeah, same, bro. I'm that type of guy as well. I like staying at the bar. Yeah, 100%. Josh Dye's making £140. I don't know how he does it. He's a big fucking guy for 140. That's the thing, Pigeon, man. Like, people underestimate how tough Ramirez is. He's got a fucking granite chin. He really does. Like, I know Amir Imam, he was never really what they said he was, but he could really fucking punch, man. And he was tagging Ramirez clean coming in, and it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. So you're right. It's going to take a lot of dissuading Ramirez from coming forwards. I think that the best way for Taylor to do it is that body work. That's what will discourage Ramirez. If he can dig to that body with regularity, that could slow him down. But you're right. Yeah, I think I think Josh Taylor beats Danny Garcia as well on points. So he would never stop Danny. That's a great fight. I think that would be similar to the Spence fight, Vision. When you look at Josh Taylor is actually very similar to Errol Spence. Very similar. Both southpaws, both body punchers, both are very capable on the inside. Go and watch an Errol Spence fight and watch Josh Taylor back to back. Those guys are very similar. Yeah, I like standing at the bar as well, man. You never know who you'll bump into either, man. But yeah, I should be going to the bar in the next couple of weeks or so. I do miss it. I do miss it. I can't lie. I do miss it. Especially like the summer, man. Like in the summer, it's great, man. Like on a night out in the summer, your boys are out with you. You know, all the hotties are out in town. It's amazing, man. I'll be honest. I have really missed a night out. I've really fucking missed it. I like chatting to the barman or barmaid. My local's got some fucking banging barmaid, yeah. She's got the biggest tits you've ever seen. She's like this little fucking dwarf, yeah. She's like fucking 5 foot. Real fucking petite, yeah. Like real skinny, but she's got these massive fucking tits. Unreal. I've got to go Prince Nazim, Brandon. I love fucking Akhmadaliev, but I've got to go Prince Nazim. Prince Nazim. I was out shopping today and I was like, God, I don't miss these people. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I fucking hate shopping, to be honest with you. Spencer's a bit more selective with his shots, but still similar, yeah. But I do think they are very similar. What beer you drink, Newcastle Lager or Heineken? I prefer Heineken, to be honest. I do quite like Heineken. I like most beers, man. I'm not a beer snob. I like most beers. The only ones I don't really care for are like Foster's or Carling and shit like that. But even that, I'll drink if it's the only thing available. I'll drink it if it's the only thing available. Yeah, I'm getting doubtful now in regards to Pacquiao. I'm getting doubtful as well. I hope it's like Pacquiao or Porter. If not those guys, then Virgil Ortiz. That's what I want. Who else could it be? If Crawford doesn't fight Pacquiao next, who else could it really be? Porter's available. Porter said he wants to fight. Virgil Ortiz says he wants to fight. So if Pacquiao doesn't happen, then that's they're the fights they should try and make. Either Virgil Ortiz or Porter. Oh yeah, Kambosos is getting smoked. He's getting smoked like a fucking bag of weed, man. Yeah, Crawford Avenesian, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it's not the fight we're looking for Terence Crawford. Crawford talks too much. Yeah, Crawford, man, he's in a bad position right now. He needs any sort of credible opponent. Anyone will do. Anyone will do. Porter, Pacquiao, Ortiz, these are all great fights for him. All great fights for him. Anyway, yeah, guys, I'm gonna cave in. You know, I'm gonna wrap this one up. If you could smash the like, that'd be much appreciated on the way out. Always helps us out. But yeah, I'm going to go and probably grab myself some beer. Might get some Guinness, you know. I might get some Guinness. But yeah, peace, guys. Have a good one. Peace.